Hello everyone. I am so glad you have joined me today. I love sharing my ideas with you and I hope I inspire you with today's creation. This week I'm going to focus on product in the July to December catalog that will be retiring soon. If you're like me, you still have some of it left and it's like, I don't need any more Christmas cards, Halloween's long gone, what do I do with some of these things? I'm going to show you some ideas that use those products and will extend the use of them long beyond the holiday season. Here's the card we will be making today. For this card, I used the Sailing Home stamp set, and I specifically used the large sailboat. I used the smooth sailing dies, and that was to cut out the sailboat. I used the Forever Fern stamp set for my sentiment. Hello. All right, now that we've got that, let's get started. I'm going to move that over there. I can go a little bit further there so we can get started. The first thing you need to do is you need to take your card base, which is very vanilla, and it's 8.5 or 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And you want to fold and burnish your card base. All right, then you're going to take two pieces, and this is from the Brightly Gleaming DSP, and I use these two pieces with the stars. This piece is 1 3/4 by 4. This piece is 3.5 by 4. And we're going to put those on our card base and glue them down. You have to kind of look at the things that you have. You know, many of us have a lot of stuff left over, and it's like, what do you do with it? So I decided to share some ideas with you. You can easily do this with any supplies that you have. It doesn't have to be any of these. All right. And I'm going to butt this right up against the other one, making sure it's even at the top and the bottom, and sticking it down. All right, so our card base is done. The next thing I did was I stamped my image on a piece of Very Vanilla. After I stamped my image in Night of Navy and cut it out, I put it on my card, but it was bland. So I decided to do some coloring. So I grabbed my ink pad and I squeezed it to put some ink in the lid, like so. And I'm going to use my blender pen, and I'm going to pick up some of the ink, and I'm going to pull it way out because I don't want it too dark. And I'm just going to color in my sails. And as I need more ink, I go in and pick it up. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other sail. I think it's time to retire this blender pen. It's empty, so I use it for this kind of thing, but the tip on it had it. So it's not doing too well. Okay. And then to do my boat, I again grab some of the ink and I colored it in using the same method. A little bit for that. All right, so now that I'm going to scribble off my ink. Yeah, I think that's definitely ready to be retired. Okay, now this is ready to go. I wanted a piece behind it, and I wanted some interest. Since I've used rectangles, I decided to go with a diamond. So I cut a 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 inch square, and I wanted to emboss it. And to me, when I see the Argyle embossing folder, I kind of see waves and different things. So what I did to emboss it was I held it at an angle, and I put one corner here, and this side over here I lined up with the lines. There's like a dotted line here, so I put that line there, and that gave me a straight embossing. This I decided to put in the center of here, and I'm going to add it with dimensionals. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this, if I can get them off. My fingers don't want to work today. I've cut them, but they're just not cooperating. That happens once in a while. All right, and I'm gonna finish off, and I'm gonna put one more down there. Now I need my pokey tool to take the backs off. And sometimes they come off and sometimes they flick, so I just go with the flow. This one has come off, but it's flipped over, so I gotta pull it off. All right, I'm gonna finish taking my backs off here. Oh, that one's already sticking up. All right, now that I have my backs off, I can take and I can add this to my card base. Now you gotta watch how you do this, because if I put it on that way, I got diamonds going up and down. This is the way I want it. So it kind of has that look of waves, so to speak. I know, sometimes I see things and people look at it, and that's all right, to each his own. All right, my sailboat is then going to go on with dimensionals also. So I'm going to add those to my sailboat. All right, take my backs off. Boy, that one doesn't want to go into the trash. And I'm going to add my sailboat right in the center, like so. When I was done, it needed a sentiment. And I was like, what am I going to do? I didn't want anything that was, you know, your typical sentiments. So I pulled out my hello, my general one, and a scrap of paper. I'm going to use my Night of Navy to stamp my hello. I wanted some interest in my sentiment, so I pulled out the postage stamp die, and then I stuck that into the top, and I am going to punch that out, and I'm making sure that that is straight at the top. All right. Now, you're probably saying, how did you get that from this? Well, you're going to take your Post-it note, you're going to stick it on the corner of your sentiment, and you're going to take that sentiment and you're going to reinsert it. I'm right-handed, so reinsert it at the bottom. Of course, now it's sticking to me, like so. All right, I'm going to try this from the side. There we go. Side's better. And it still gives you the same look. And what I'm doing is I'm watching the loops on the side and making sure it's straight. Then I'm going to squeeze it and punch it. And that gives me my little hello. I'm going to take a piece of Night of Navy, and this piece is 2 inches, 3/4 by 2 inches, and I'm going to put this right in the center. I wanted it a little bigger to really emphasize, so that your eye is drawn to that sentiment. Okay. There we go. And you can cut this down if you want. I'm then going to take some more dimensionals and I'm going to add them to the back of my panel. Take my pokey tool and take the backs off. And then this I'm going to add down here at the bottom, and I am kind of going into the blue somewhat. I just kind of want the eye to be drawn in a different direction. And there's our card. Now you probably have some of these supplies, but if there are any that you do not have, there is a link in the information section below that will take you to the blog post with all the supplies that I've used. Once there, you can click on the image and it will add it to your cart. If your order is under $150, I would appreciate it if you would use this host code, and that's on my blog also. But it helps support me so that I can continue to make videos for you. Have you signed up for my newsletter? There's one more week of the 12 weeks of Christmas. And then Vicki and I have teamed up and Vicki and Fiona and I have teamed up and we're going to do 12, I don't know if it's 12 weeks, but we're going to do some celebration ideas for you. So make sure you sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss those ideas. Have a great day.